Welcome back to my workshop. Now it's just after Christmas and I thought I'd do a quick video to show you one of the tools I got for Christmas. Now it's something I asked for on my Christmas list and Mrs. Little Workshop was kind enough to get it for me. And it's one of these, which is a grooving blade. Let me show you. Okay, it's a grooving blade for my table saw. So let's have a close look and see what it is and why I needed it. Okay, so what have we got here? What we got is a grooving blade. Now let's get it out of the box. Now first of all, a grooving blade is wider than a standard table saw blade. Okay, and when I say wider, I mean the teeth are wider. Okay, so the curve, have a close look here, the curve is a lot wider than the standard blade. Here's the standard blade off of my table saw. Now if you look, the difference, how thick it is. Okay, this one's about 2.5 mil thick. But this one is 6 mil thick. Now, why would you want that? Now, the idea is you can put it in your table saw and then you can do grooves like this in a piece of wood. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you do a groove like that for, say, a drawer bottom, then your piece of wood can just slot into it like this. The reason I got this, though, was I'm going to be doing some finger joints. Now, obviously, I can do it with this. But this gives me a few issues with the angles that the blades are at and also the thickness of the blade. Okay, this one is thicker and also the tops of the blade are actually flat. So when it cuts a groove, it cuts a flat bottom groove. Now my concern with this blade was that it's only 180 mil diameter. Okay, whereas this one is 210. Okay, bit of a difference. But in reality, to do a groove, you're not going to be doing it this deep. Okay, you're going to be doing it a lot shallower. So I don't think the actual diameter is going to be an issue. Okay, but what is going to be an issue is the thickness of this may not fit in my table saw because it's too thick. Okay, so let's put it in the table saw and see if I can make it work. Right, so now I'm at table saw. If you're ever doing anything on the table saw, first thing to do, make sure it's unplugged. Otherwise you'll chop your fingers off. Right, what I've got to do is remove the throat plate and remove the old blade. So let's get on with that. Okay, so I've got the old blade out. I will be putting this back at some point. As you can see, it's a lot smaller. Okay, but the bore is the same. Okay, this is a 30 mil bore on this machine. So let's put it in and see what happens. Okay, so it actually fits, and the bore is good, obviously, and it turns without hitting any of the sawdust guard at the bottom. Before you say anything, I know there's no riving knife on here because I've been doing some through cuts and I had to remove it. My choice, it will go back on later. Okay, so it fits like that, but the problem is, if I now put the throat back on, it actually hits on the blade. Okay, so what I'm going to probably have to do is make a new insert, and I'll probably make a better zero clearance insert just for this blade. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that out of, let me think. Right, so my original throat is made out of aluminium, which I don't have. I can't make another one out of aluminium. And it's also not a zero clearance insert. So I thought I'll make it out of wood, but I didn't have any decent bits of wood that are about the right size. So I thought I'll use some perspex. Got some perspex. This is 4 mil thick, so that's too thick. I'm not going to be able to sand that down or do anything properly with that. So I found another piece. This is only 2 mil thick. Bit floppy, and also it won't be strong enough. So I rummaged around in my rubbish pile and I found this, which is a piece of plastic, slightly stiffer. It's got some ribs on the back. It's actually out of an old photocopier. Okay, it's the bit where you lift up the lid, that's the bit you see. Okay, but this should be strong enough. It's about 2.5 mil thick, so it should be right size for this. So what I'm going to do, put this on here, draw around it, cut it out, and then put it in the table. Okay, so now I've got my insert roughly cut, but it's a little bit flexible on this side because there's nothing to support it. So what I'm going to do is go underneath the table and draw out where I can actually put some strengthening. So let's have a look under the table. Okay, so under the table here, as you can see, there's the insert. What I'm going to do is draw around here and basically give myself a bit of an area where I can put some strengthening. Okay, so I've now cut my 2 strengthening battens. These are just out of the 4mm perspex that I had earlier on. I'm just going to stick one here and one here. And for that, I'm going to use some CA glue with some activator. Don't forget Right, let me just round off this corner. Okay, so I now have my 2 strengthening bars on here. It's a lot more rigid. Does it fit? Yes, it does. Right, screw this in place. Right, so I've now got my blade fitted and I've got my new cover fitted. All I've got to do is start it up and raise the blade to cut through this cover. The thing is though, I don't know how this plastic will react when it comes in contact with the blade. Will it splinter? Will it crack? Will it fly across the workshop? I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a batten of wood. Now this is just as thick as, probably as deep as I'll ever go with this blade. So if I cut through this, once it comes through the top, I know I'm at the right depth-ish. Okay, what I'm going to do is put this across the top, where the blade comes through, clamp it down, if I can, at both ends, like that. Okay, so all I've got to do now is start my table saw and lift it up. Be very careful. Right, extension lead. Well, I've just remembered that my extension lead is outside powering up a reindeer and a Christmas tree. I've got to find another one. Okay, here we go. There's our plastic. Come on. Oh, that stinks. It smells like burning plastic. Right, let's have a look. Ooh, nice. Right, so we've now got our zero clearance insert on our grooving blade. Right, see if it works. Look at that. Awesome. Okay, so I've just cut my piece of wood in half. As you can see, it's got a nice channel in both of them. Okay, and the idea is you get your draw base and you just slide it on like that. Okay, so how good is that? Obviously you can use it for other things, but yeah, to give you a nice channel, nice and quick, nice and simple, nice and accurate. Okay, so I shall be using this for my next project as well. Okay, so that's it. So that's the grooving blade. It's 180 millimeters. This was from Orange Tools. I believe they're available on Amazon. Obviously, I got this for a present, but I highly recommend getting one if you're doing anything on a table saw. And also, make sure you make one of these. Don't be tempted to try and fit this and then leave a big gap around your blade, okay, because that's dangerous. Make one of these, it makes all the difference. Okay, so that is worth getting. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh. Right, I'll try that with sound this time.